Record. What's up, everybody? It's your man Danelle, aka Small Guy Promotions, aka the Omaha Fatty, coming with another podcast episode of What's Up, Omaha. I got some super cool guests with me today. The Hines. I don't. You guys do so much now, so like I'll let you guys top it off right now and say the things that you guys do, because you used to be HinesGLOW airbrush tattoos, but now it's changed. So what all do you guys do now?
So right now we have HinesGLOW Entertainment LLC. It's a family entertainment business, and so we do with that. We've just keep growing, like you said. We started off with airbrush tattoos, and now we have airbrush tattoos, airbrush face paint, wax hands, water walking balls, bumper balls, a dunk tank. Gosh, we have a couple tug of war things. We have a cash thing. We have so much. You just have to check out our website.
We'll make sure to give all that information to this so that people can go, and I'll put it in the description so people have the website and all that jazz.
Yes. And then we also have a nonprofit called Young Entrepreneurs of the Future.
Oh yeah, how's that been going?
It's been good. Actually, with the after school programs, I'm still able to connect with kids. And right now I'm helping about 6 different youths to get their business started. So I helped them with startup funds, and most of them have sold out of their material. So it's been awesome.
Nice. I remember you talking about that when we were doing that thing for ISIS with Metro down at New Space.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so that's cool. And what else do you guys do? It's like you guys are like Jamaicans. You got like 85 jobs.
Right.
You know, we always just got all different things going on.
Yep. Got some other businesses on our sleeve that we're starting. So.
Yeah. So I'll give a little backstory about how we all met. It had to be 2013, 2014, back at a little event back in Bellevue. I can't even remember what event it was, but
it was Aerospace.
Okay, yeah. Oh yeah, because they had a parade and everything. And then afterwards it was at Washington Park. Yep. So you guys were there doing your thing, doing the airbrush tattoos and stuff. And I was just starting putting on the events there. So I was like, ooh, can I get your card?
Right.
And then we've been linked up since.
Yep.
So how long had you guys been doing just the airbrushing, during that time? Like what year did you guys start that?
Ooh, I want to say we probably started the year before we met you. So we was new too.
Okay, yeah.
We was new too. So that's why it was good to know, that you was new, we was new. It was like, hey, let's just figure some stuff out. Let's get it going,
Yeah, man. And that's what's cool to like about putting on those type of events, or even if you're just a part of those events, like you get to meet other people who are doing the same thing that you're trying to do. You guys got like similar goals, and then when you see each other like growing and stuff, it's like, man, this is why we started doing it. Like, so how did you guys make the transition from just doing the airbrushing to everything that you guys are doing now?
Well, I always wanted to get into art, so that's why I started the airbrushing. But my long-term vision was to add on things to start an entertainment business. So, every year I add on something, we added on something, every year we basically invest back into ourselves. So, without having to take out business loans and things like that, everything is patience,
Right. Yeah.
So every year we just add something, we added face painting, and it's like, oh shoot, let's add something else. And we added water walking balls. So we was like, oh shoot, this is nice. All right, let's add something else. And we added bumper balls. And then after that, it was just like, oh, let's find some inflatables.
So
I think our whole vision too is to be different. So like for us, majority of our things, nobody else in Omaha has. So we were trying to.
That was my next question. That was perfect. Yeah.
So go ahead and ask the question.
No, that was it.
Okay.
I was just gonna ask you, like, so since you guys are adding all these new things, are there items or services that you guys provide that other people around this area don't?
Yeah, so like I said, majority of all of our things nobody in Omaha has, and we wanted to set ourselves different from all the other entertainment. There's quite a few bounce house places. There's quite a few other entertainment. So we were trying to figure out like what can we bring to Omaha that nobody else has or is going to do, because a lot of our stuff it's hands-on. Employees are always there, so we're not like a company that just drops off and goes. We're a company that an employee stays there with them, make sure everything is taken care of.
So with me being from the South, it's kind of like, like cheating, because the Midwest gets stuff late, So I was always up to like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning on my phone, just Googling stuff. So that's how we got the water walking balls, We the only one doing the water walking balls. We have wax hand creations. We the only one doing wax hand creations. So,
we're the only ones that do airbrush face paint.
Yep, airbrush face paint.
As far as airbrush tattoos, I want to say it's very limited now. I think we're the only, like, there may be 1 or 2 other doing it, but other than that, a lot of people just kind of have stepped down because it does take a little bit. And like I said, you have to have employees, or you have to go.
Yeah. And I was going to ask you guys too, you kind of touched on it already, Trav, like you were saying that, you get stuff a little early, like, a little bit because, you're from the South. And I was going to ask you how much research goes into the things that you guys think about, purchasing for the business.
Well, like I said, I usually be on the computer researching stuff if I come across something that looks pretty cool, or, like I said, I'm originally from Florida, so when I get on Facebook, everybody I know is from Florida. So if I see them go to the fair or whatever, and there's something different there, I'm like, oh, we don't have that here, that should be fine here. So I do my research and, purchase it.
That's good, man. And you were talking about staffing and having people there wherever you're renting out, your items. You guys are family owned. You guys have kids that help out. You guys pay them and teach them the roles of what it is to be a business owner. How has that been?
Well, before the COVID-19.
Yeah.
Because we've had actually the same employees for almost like the last 6-7 years. They're the same seasonal, they come back, but we've lately in the last 3 years, we've been hiring high school kids. Our own kids work for us. It's been really well. That's kind of what motivated us to open our nonprofit, is to help and teach the youth that you can literally have an entertainment business. You don't have to have this big, huge building or anything like that. So it's been really good for us. But also we treat our employees, our staff, anything like their family. So that's why they've stayed with us. You work 10 long hours in that sun with you. We're going to make sure that you have lunch and waters and Gatorade and whatever it is. And, Christmas time or birthdays, we try to give them a little extra. Might not be a lot, but it's just a thank you. They also have really good customer service as well too, and on top of it, they worked with us. So it's when you work with your boss and you can be comfortable, it's different, and they appreciate that.
That's nice, man. So, like, how big is your team now?
Well, I have about 6 to 7 seasonal that stay on, and then my high school kids just are kind of a call you by basis or when you're needed, and I have anywhere from 5 to 10 of those.
Okay, so of course, like the spring, summertime, like we're in now, is usually like the busy season for you guys.
Correct.
Correct. What are you guys doing during those like fall and winter months to stay busy? Are you guys doing like school events?
Yep.
So we'll do like school events, post proms, like we used to do. We do Bellevue West, a lot of the high school stuff like that, or any fall festivals. We're usually busy from March to about October. I mean, it's really not. There's just a couple months in between, and that just gets us prepared to make sure our material's up. What events are we going to get into the next year? Marketing and figuring out that way.
Well, and you guys, there's got to be a lot of planning out there. Like you guys, get your contracts in. Do you have to bid, or is there a lot of competition for you guys? I know you have a lot of different items. then
That's him. He's the one who finds all the fairs, festivals, and everything.
Yeah, so with the fairs and festivals, it's pretty much easy because like we said, we're the only one that have certain things.
Yep.
So once I hit up a fair, I say, hey, this, say for instance the water walking balls. I say, hey, the water walking balls is pretty hot at La Vista Days or Papillion Days, and I show them videos, I send them pictures and things like that. Let them know like, hey, this would be hot at your event as well. So that's how I get in a lot of fairs and festivals. But as far as like competition or bidding on things, we really don't have to bid on anything.
That's cool.
Yeah, so we do co-contract with fund services.
Yeah, with fund
fund services.
Yep.
So like Bree was saying, we kind of like the only ones that do airbrush tattoos. So fund services, they usually hit us up when they need an airbrush tattoo person. So it's pretty good.
Yes, well, and that's the thing too, with you guys being like so versatile.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe somebody sees you at an event that they work with you guys, and you're only doing the airbrushing, and they're like, "Hey, let's do the airbrushing." But then they find out about you, and then they're like, "Oh, you have all these other offerings that you have." Like, okay, cool. So like you're like a one-stop shop in a lot of cases.
Correct.
We are. Yes.
Man, that's so much. And you guys you started this all on your own. This was Trav. You said you'd always want to do the artistry type of thing, and you guys just like got together and started doing this together as a team.
Correct.
Yeah. You guys were working still when you started the business, right? You didn't just like take the dime and quit. And
that's how you invest back into yourself. You have to have some type of income to come in and to invest into yourself if you don't want to go and take out business loans and things like that. Yeah. So like you said, I was doing the airbrush tattoo thing while I was working, and she was actually working too. She was at a hospital working. But when things started picking up and we started putting 100% into the entertainment business, then things started to go up. She was able to leave her job at the hospital, and now here we go. Now we got a nonprofit. Now we just working for ourselves.
See, and it's crazy how like the vision changes as you get more experience.
Yep.
You start to do one thing well, and then like, I don't want to say that you get bored, but like you've accomplished a certain amount of success. Mm-hmm. So then those wheels start turning a little bit. It's like, okay, what's the next move? Like, you have a plan set up for all these different things. So even if one falls apart, you still got something else to fall back on.
Right.
So, people always, I see it a lot where people talk about like just taking that leap of faith or whatever. Mm-hmm. It's like, yeah, if you can do that, it's cool, but you got to be smart about it. Like you can't just quit and not have any money.
Right.
That don't work. So
so I go back to the leap of faith. I'm gonna put Bree on the spot. So with the leap of faith, like I said, we got the entertainment business, but I was still working at the schools as a assistant director, at the after school program, and we always talked about doing a nonprofit. So one summer, I kept telling Bree, I was like, I don't think I want to go back to work. Like I do not want to go back to the school. I want us to start something. So I talked with one of the, the head ladies that was, kind of directing a lot of the after school programs. And I told her, I was like, hey, I want to start a nonprofit. What can I do? And she was like, Travis, you know what? I want you to take a leap of faith. I want you right after this meeting, I want you to call your job, put your 2 weeks in, and then we're going to get something going. So I did that without even telling her. I put my 2 weeks in. I don't have a job. She basically don't have a job because she started, she left the hospital to start doing. So basically, hey, I took that leap of faith, and she kind of like came on board because she wasn't with it at first. But
right.
You gotta realize when you come from nothing, and then you work. And you just make the bills and you make everything, and you're so used to a plan that
comfortable.
And that's the word. It's comfortable because now we take a leap of faith all the time. We're like, let's do it.
Because you've been there, you know what it looks like. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. And I'm like, we're so invested in it that we're not going to fail. We tell ourselves we're not going to fail, you know, and it is true. It takes a good 3 to 5 years for any business to be really successful if you're giving 100%.
Right. Yep.
Now, if you can only give 50%, like what we were doing at first, you know, it's tough. Yeah. And that's just how it is. So everything's meant to be. Everything happens for a reason, and we're just gonna, you know, keep going and keep building. Like for us, we've never taken out a business loan, and we'll never take out a business loan.
Yeah. Like you were saying, I don't either. I don't have a brick and mortar. I don't have a reason to have like a business loan. Like if I can't afford to do it out of my bank account, then it's just like, well, I'm gonna have to work harder to get more money. I don't know.
Right.
So I appreciate that too, man. And you know, one of the things that you guys were talking about was, you know, the situation that we're in with the COVID and all that. So how has that impacted what you guys are doing, especially since this is your busy season?
So basically, actually, it's been a nice, relaxed time, and it's, you know, what's so funny is like I was saying, everything happens for a reason. We usually pay for all of our fairs and festivals in January, February, but for some reason this year we didn't pay for one. And we get to this and I'm like, that's why we didn't pay for any of this. But it's been kind of a time for us to just figure out what we want to bring in, what we want to do. I mean, all of our fairs and festivals have canceled. I mean, we're not one. We do have, we just got hired for a party in June for a small, actually next week for wax. So I've been really just marketing and trying to figure out, so like our water walking balls, you know, I have that big old pool. So I'm like, okay, what can we do? So we're like, oh, well, we could rent these pools out for parties. And so we've kind of just had to figure out a different way to go. We have a dunk tank, so we set it up and do videos so people can actually see how it is. So our kids actually get to have fun too. But we just had to figure out, like, what can we do to keep, you know, small gatherings, or what can we do to do, you know, drop-offs that we don't have to use us or employees, and also still fun for people. You know, with public pools, who knows when they're going to open, if they open this summer. We have 2 large pools, you know, and they're huge, and so we've kind of just been trying to just think of different things to do. Really just engaging in Facebook, engaging in Instagram, just really trying to talk to people. Recently I just did an introduction of us, because a lot of people don't know who the owners are of any company.
Right.
And so it was nice, because we had a lot of people reach out, because I think people feel comfortable, like, okay, these are the owners, like they're just like regular people like us. Right. You know, so just we've been just kind of taking it day by day, and we'll get back into it.
Yep.
You know.
Well, and I think that's a big part of it, just making sure to stay relevant, and that, you know, people still see you. They might not actually engage or interact with you, but as long as they keep seeing that, like, oh man, that looks familiar, or like, I feel like I've seen them before somewhere or something. Like, as long as you can keep doing that and be in the back of their mind when the time is right, like, you guys are there. So that's what a lot of people, they had posted. They're like, I think they did our wax hand. Oh, I think they were here. And you know, I think when people put the owner and then the people actually working, they're just like, wow, they work too. Yeah, we work. Yeah. and I do, as a customer, you know, I think that is really good, because, you know, like for Omaha Fatty, when I write my reviews, and I talk about the experience, if like the owner comes out and like is talking to people, right, it's a little different feel to it, because, you know, that person really, you know, it's their business and they really care. You know, you, not to say that your wait staff doesn't care, but if you own the business, you're the one that has the most on the line. So you know, you're gonna try to make sure you can do whatever is in your power, within your power, to service that client. So especially word of mouth, man. All the social media is cool and stuff, but like word of mouth is always, I try to tell people, it's always the most important thing that's out there, man, because I would rather hear something from you guys directly telling me about some place than like seeing a commercial for it, or, you know.
Right. Correct.
So that's always an important part of it too. There's so many different aspects, and I think sometimes we lose it and we try to focus too much in one area and we forget about something else. So it's good to be well-rounded there as well. Another question that I have for you guys was, since you have so many items, where do you store everything? You guys got like a warehouse?
Well, no, we don't have a warehouse. I was actually during the quarantine, actually was able to build a whole shed, you know, because of all the time I have. So,
Nice.
yeah, but we have a certain property that we usually put stuff on,
Cool.
you know, to keep stuff safe. So
That's nice, because I know when I was when we were in the old neighborhood, our neighbor across the street was renting out the inflatables and stuff. And
ah,
he was moving, and so he was trying to sell the business. And I was like, "Ooh, that would be cool." And he had like tables and chairs that they rented out
yeah,
too. And I was like, "That sounds nice to be able to rent that stuff or buy that stuff to rent out." I was like, "But I don't have any place to put it. Like, I
no,
don't
no
even know."
room, yeah, no storage, yeah, yeah. It's hard sometimes when we building on, like I said, when we added on the inflatables, it was like, oh, you know, where I'm gonna put that at, you know.
Right.
We had to figure it out. It was like taking up the garage. I had to take the car to the garage, you know, no more car space. So,
Right.
we had to figure out, you know, ways to, you know, to store things.
That's what you gotta do. You gotta be resourceful, man. So,
Yep. Yep.
um, so we've talked about the business, and we'll touch on it more however you guys want. But let's talk more about the nonprofit organization and how long that's been around.
Man.
So the nonprofit's been around for what, 3 years this
It's
year?
been like 3 years.
Yeah,
Now.
3 years now, and it's been really good. We are in the after school programs, so we're in about 31, 35 different after school programs between Omaha and Council Bluffs, and we want to reach out to other like cities like Fremont, Lincoln, and everything. We literally 3 years ago started with one school, 1 to 2 schools.
Yep, like 2 schools.
And now we're at, you know, we're looking into hiring college kids to help with the other schools that are in entrepreneurs. So, you know, we teach kids the concept of running their own business, and then we also help kids with startup funds to start their own business. We are really focusing on trades. You know, in the state of Nebraska, you don't need a braiding license, so I have a braiding class for youth, just to show these kids, like, literally you can turn anything into a business. Braiding, it doesn't matter how old you are, you know, just trying to teach them that, like, you're 10, okay, you can do it. And so, I mean, we have an 8-year-old right now we're working with, and he's got a business. So, you know, it's actually been really amazing. And this time that we've had with the COVID, I've been able to connect with a lot of youth. I've been able to help more. We've started projects. We've been able to just kind of reevaluate our lesson plans for the next school year. But other than that, like, it's really amazing. I want these kids to be successful. I don't want to just give them the entrepreneur mindset. I don't want them to just say, okay, oh, I could be a business owner, and then 6 months later they're like, oh, and I don't want to be that person like, oh, at least you tried. No, I want these kids to go and push until there's nothing left, or, you know, or until they get big and don't need me anymore. I have about 5 they graduated this year, and they all have a business, and they're like, you know, are you still going to be working with me? And I'm like, of course, I'm going to work with you until you don't need me anymore.
Right. As long as you never get too old for a mentor. Like,
right.
You know, so it's been really rewarding to see these kids. I actually went to a little get together a week ago, and one of my young entrepreneurs, her mask that she makes in her business, the girl was giving them out as little party favors, and I was just like, that just made me feel so good, because, like, she's reached so many people that she would have never been able to reach to. So just giving them that push and helping them with marketing. Like, the girls were like, they had everything. They had all their material written out, they didn't need me for too much, but they were like, marketing is the hardest part. How do I get myself out there? So, like, for them to really focus on social media, because that's their outlet right now. Like, some of the stuff that I see them doing, I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Like, it makes me so happy.
Yeah, it feels good for you too. Like, whenever you know that you've had a hand in someone else, like you said earlier, you want them to be successful.
Right.
Again, and even, it's not even about like money or anything like that, but you just being able to see someone else succeed and know that you played a role in helping them get there. Like, I always say that makes me successful. Like, I connect people all the time, and I'm like, I don't need any money for it. Like, I just like to do it. And and if you guys build a relationship and like create from that point forward, man, like, I feel, and it'll come back to you too. Like, it feels good though.
I love the youth. I'm such a huge youth advocate. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, I want them to be more successful than they can ever think of. You know, there's so many kids that will sit there and be like, I am not college material, so I'm not going to be anything. And I was like, no, you're going to be a lot. It's okay. College isn't for everybody. And that's okay. But that's what we need to let them know, because they don't understand that. And, you know, there's a lot of people who went to college and don't even work where they were, like me.
And then they spend all that money to go, and then.
Right.
So, you know, I think the biggest thing, like this year, like I said, we're really focusing on trades. We're really focusing on just entrepreneurs, trying to see what, you know, they like to do. A lot of people think, oh, construction is just being outside all day. No, it's not. There's other stuff you can do. And same thing with plumber. They hear plumber and they're like, oh, I don't want to work with toilets. Well, it's not always toilets. So, you know, I want them to understand what a plumber or electrician is. There's so many different things than just a toilet or just working outside, you know. So, and I always tell people, you can work for somebody for a year and still be trying to build your brand up. And then eventually you'll get somebody like an electrician, you get somebody you're working with and they're like, hey, I love your work. Can you come back? And boom, now you have your first customer.
Yep. And I think that's one thing that people don't necessarily consider when they're thinking about like a business plan and like their vision of it, is how much coordination there is with other business owners. You know, I know Silverhammer Surveillance, who does, like, I've been friends with them for years. They do, you know, cameras at residential, commercial properties, wherever. They use our other friends, Crown Enterprises, electricians. They always like, hey, if I can't install this, or if there's something preventing me from getting your cameras installed the way they're supposed to be, and it's an electrical issue, you're calling those guys. So like, there's a lot of that going on, a lot of collaboration,
and that's how it should be. Like, for instance, like I'm the clown. If we're out of town or can't do face painting or something, I give people her information, or I give her the contact, because that's how it should be. It shouldn't be like, oh, I don't know anybody. No, you know. And if I don't have enough, I actually co-contracted. I'm the clown and a couple other ones in one time because we needed them. So
cool.
I think it's really. I mean, that's how we should be. There's enough money out here. If CVS and Walgreens can be literally across the street, so can everybody else. And, you know, we like to collab a lot with a lot of businesses, but we also like to just get to know, like, so sometimes like we do field trips with my young entrepreneurs, and we'll go to like mix-ins, and we'll go to other little small businesses so they can see that they're regular people and this is their business and this is how they started. And because a lot of kids think, oh, you got to have all this money to start a business, or you're rich and you're this, and to just kind of show them everybody kind of started from the bottom.
Yeah, as long as you got that money to get registered, like that $100 or whatever with the state, like, you're good to go. Like, that's all it takes. That,
you know, and we're lucky in Nebraska because the rules are not that big as a business owner. Some places, I mean, some of, like, we don't have to have a business license, we just have to have our LLC. And so like in Florida, man, you have to have a business license, you've got to have a certificate, you've got to have this, you've got to have your, it's crazy.
You gotta go through a lot.
You know, in Nebraska, as I say, Nebraska's a really good small business state, and if you know what you're doing, you'll be good.
Yep. And if you don't, ask someone. There's a lot of people like yourselves out there who are willing to be a resource for people like that.
Right.
And, you know, Google is there. I mean, you know, if you don't know how to do it, you can figure out how to do it. So, last thing I want to touch on that I know you guys do is the YouTube channel. You know, I see you guys doing that with your families. That's more of a, well, I guess a lot of what you do is family. So tell us about the YouTube channel and what's going on with that. You guys are still doing it, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, we pretty much vlog and do everything. You know, we every time we go out of the state, you know, we got a bunch of videos from, you know, we went to Mexico. We're gonna be going to Florida in a little bit. I'll be vlogging down there. So, you know, just to show people like different stuff. I mean, a lot of kids cannot get out of the state, or, you know, they don't even really go nowhere, especially out of the country. So, you know, if they can see that stuff, you know, they can have a dream or something, you know.
You guys have been doing that for years too. Like, I know it's at least been like 2 or 3 years, because we talked about it before when you were doing it. So I mean, how many years have you been doing that?
Man, this is probably like almost like our 4th year, maybe. Yeah, it might
I'm
probably been
sorry to
like
hear
Oh,
4
it's been a
years.
while.
Yeah.
I know it's
Yeah,
been
you
a
know,
while.
because it just started off as, hey, let me just throw videos on here so I won't lose them off of my phone. You know, because, you know, we
Yeah.
do a lot of videoing. We take a lot of pictures. And then once we get a new phone, it's just sitting on that phone, you know. So I'm like, you know what, let me just go to the YouTube platform and just start putting these videos together, put it on there so the kids can see.
Right.
My kids can see. But then,
Right.
you know, as you start doing your research, and it's like, oh, people's like, kids are really watching people like, you know, sitting eating, you know, or
Yep.
you know, going outside playing. Like, I'm like, you know what, let's put our little all into this thing, you know. Like we just got back from the dealership, you know, so it's like we vlog, you
Yep.
know, show people, you know, why good credit is good, you know, having good credit, you know, you could go in there and get you a new vehicle and get up out of there, you know. So, you know, just different stuff like that. So
Yeah, and that's cool too, man, because like, you know, some people might not understand it, but like being like a content kind of person,
right.
everything that I do, I feel like I should have my camera out. Like,
Yep. Yep.
you know,
Yep.
whether it's taking pictures of food or video or just
Yep.
if I'm just thinking about something that happened on like during my day, I'm like, ooh,
Right.
make a video about that, or ooh, I got an idea about this.
Right.
So,
Right.
dude, this sparks creativity, man. So
Right.
that seems
Yeah.
like it's more along the lines of what you were talking about before of being an artist. It's just a different type. Like everybody doesn't do it. Everybody doesn't feel comfortable in front of the camera.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like real cool for somebody like you to do that and you know show, especially given the family feel behind it too. So I
Right.
appreciate that, man.
Yeah, see, I like watching your videos when you do your what is jiu-jitsu or whatever, your
Yeah,
wrestling
yeah,
stuff. Yeah, when you post those, I watch them, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like, and
It's
you
just
and
your
you
life.
have a yeah, you have a lot of people that want to see that stuff, you know. It's just different audience out there, you know, for different things, you know. Like
Yep.
like the kids was really watching a tire running over stuff. And they get millions of views. I was like, oh my gosh, I think I need to get my RV and just have this big old tire just running over crayons,
Yep.
running over a cup, and it's like these kids watch that stuff. So yeah,
Yeah, I
it's
know
kind of
my 9-year-old. I try to tell her to watch you guys more. Like she's watching these shows. I'm like, why don't you watch some people that we know? Like,
right.
watch
Yeah.
the Hines, man. And she's like, hmm. I'm like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
I
Oh yeah.
try.
That's just how it is.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah.
so I don't want. I know you guys are busy people, man. So I don't want to take too much more of your time.
I know we're good.
What message for anyone watching and the kids that you guys are working with all the time? What is the main message that you want to drive home to anybody who would watch this? Each
To
can go.
never give up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's been times that I'm just like, oh man, like we're not getting to what we want. I mean, for instance, I'm going to take my nonprofit. Being as a nonprofit, we ask for grants because that's how we help and with the youth of their startup funds and everything. And we've been denied after denied, and then seeing other nonprofits who don't put their full into the kids, that is a struggle because it's like, well, I can't do this and I can't do that. But then I'm looking at it like I have these youth looking forward to seeing me or getting help from me. So I'm like, I can't give up just because I got to know from
Right.
1, 2, 3, 1,200 grants. But, you know, I think the youth is definitely just, they look at me and they look up to me. So I'm like, well, I'm just going to keep pushing regardless. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to get that a couple yeses and I'm going to get a couple no's, but I'm going to keep going. You know, if the youth if they don't have, you know, me as like helping them with their startup funds, they're going to give up. You know, if I'm like, hey, I'm going to help you, I'm going to figure this out, they're going to wait and they're going to, you know, wait for me to get those funds for them.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, you know, I had 2 kids who didn't really need startup funds. They just needed help with marketing, but they waited for me and they're like, hey, like, I know we're in COVID, but can we just, I'll download Zoom, whatever you need. And I'm like, okay, let's do this. Or I'll talk on the phone. So, cause I like to do it person to person and it's just sometimes, you know how that is.
Yep.
And so they waited, and I think that's just makes me not give up. So never give up.
Yeah, mine is being more patient. You know, things is not gonna happen overnight.
Yep.
You know, things ain't happen for us overnight.
Mhm.
You know, you just have to keep believing in yourself and be patient because it's gonna come.
Yeah.
You know, maybe it might come in 3 years, maybe it might come in 6. You know, but if you have a passion for that, you know, you just have to be patient, man. You just have to just keep going. You know,
Just
because
keep
once
grinding.
you give up. I mean, you're gonna turn around and you're gonna look around and somebody's gonna be doing it. So it's
You're
gonna
like,
be out
oh,
there.
if I woulda, if I
Right. If I
shoulda.
woulda, shoulda, don't be
Yeah.
the woulda, shoulda. You know, just go ahead and do it.
Cool, man. Well, thank you guys so much. Where can everybody find you? What, yeah, like phone numbers, email, website. Where can people find Hines?
Yeah, so for our HinesGLOW Entertainment LLC, that is on Facebook. We have HinesGLOW. What's on Instagram? HinesGLOW Entertainment or just
I
HinesGLOW?
think it's just HinesGLOW on Instagram.
Instagram is just HinesGLOW. And then you can do HinesGLOWentertainment.com.
The website.
And then for Young Entrepreneurs of the Future is on Facebook. And then Young Entrepreneurs Omaha is on Instagram. And then YoungEntrepreneursOfTheFuture.com. Yeah, we have long names for everything.
Right.
That's what sets us apart from everybody.
Yeah, people.
You can reach us at 402-208-1800, or you can reach us at 402-813-2660. And I'm Breann, and this is Travis. And so like I said, for our HinesGLOW Entertainment, we're doing a lot of different things for the summer, or so whatever your needs are, we're here for you.
And one thing we forgot to mention with the young entrepreneurs is we have a young entrepreneurs website coming. It's going to be like a youth eBay. So right now we got that in the works right now. So yeah,
I appreciate that, man. And thank you guys so much for being on. I'm gonna make sure to grab all those links and everything and put them in the description of the podcast for YouTube and for the audio podcast. So if you guys are listening to this episode of What's Up Omaha, please help us grow. Go and follow HinesGLOW and everything that they're doing. Like their pages on Instagram and Facebook, and share and let people know what we're doing. We're trying to grow the community and stay connected to like-minded people doing the same thing. So smile, help someone else smile, laugh and help someone else laugh all day, every day. That's what it is. Peace out.
One last thing, I've totally forgot. One last thing is our YouTube channel is Myhouse TV.
Oh, yeah.
Myhouse TV.
How we forget that?
I know. So.
And I'll share that on the YouTube post. I'll make sure to share your page link on the video for that, so people can go and check that out too.
Perfect.
Cool. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us. All right. Bye-bye.
Peace.